about Christmas a little bit right now, and if it's a little too soon for all of you to handle that, what about a little bit of a nightmare before Christmas? Because October is a very spooky season, but one local woman, spooky season never ends for her, and she's able to share her love for all things scary at her business in REO Town.
And to celebrate National Women's Small Business Month, Claudia's there right now at her store. Hey, Claudia.
Hey you guys, you know, I love October. I consider myself a lover of all things scary and spooky, but I am no match to this woman standing right next to me, Jenn Carpenter. She's kind of like the expert of spooky here in Lansing, Queen Spooky, if you will. And we are here at her business, Dead Time Stories, to talk about what it's like to own a business as a woman, but also a very spooky business, which is, you know, just incredible. Yeah. So first off, you know, kind of where are we?
So this is Dead Time Stories. It is a true crime and horror themed bookshop. We focus a lot on Michigan history and dark history. We're located in REO Town, so kind of one of the most historic districts in the Lansing area. So it's a great spot to be to kind of push forth, you know, the local history and things like that.
Yeah, it's a great fit for the history, a little haunting there, you never know. So, you know, with that, you have two businesses in one, because this time, or this side of the business is Dead Time Stories, and then the other is your Screamatorium.
Yes.
But you kind of started this, you have an interesting startup story. You started this during the pandemic.
During the pandemic.
What was that like?
It was rough. It was a learning curve. You know, I really wasn't even leaving the house much during the pandemic, so to start, and I had never owned my own business before, so starting a business during the pandemic was a whole bunch of new stuff all at once. Yeah. We started out actually in the basement of Thrift Witch in Old Town, kind of just doing weekend pop-ups.
Wow.
Our 3rd year anniversary from that date is this weekend, actually.
Wow,
so in October of 2020, thank you. We were there for about 6 months, and then we opened here in REO Town in March of 2021.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So, kind of rewinding back, what made you want to do this in the first place?
I wanted to get out of the house. So kind of everything I do is in that spooky realm. You know, the books that I write, the podcasts that I do. Pre-pandemic, we were doing haunted history tours of the area. And so when the opportunity came up to kind of try out a little weekend pop-up shop, it was, I've always wanted to do a bookstore. I've always wanted to own my own bookstore since I was little. And I should probably keep it in that same arena, right, with the spooky and the true crime.
Yeah.
And so we decided to give it a try, and it took off.
And it's absolutely beautiful in here. It's if you can combine spooky and beautiful, this is the place that's definitely done it. But, you know, what is it like owning this type of unique business as a woman, because that obviously comes with some different challenges that people might not expect. So what is that like?
You're right. It definitely can come with challenges. The true crime world and the horror world have kind of traditionally been male dominated.
Yeah.
So we still deal with that a little here, but not much. Everyone's pretty great, and being in REO Town is fantastic because most of the retail businesses down here in REO Town are woman owned.
Yeah.
And so it's a great group to be a part of.
That is really cool. We're really lucky to have this like little niche of the community that's woman owned. But you know, you have Dead Time Stories, which is your book section, but then you also have Screamatorium.
Yes.
Now there is so much to see within this business. I could spend hours here, but we are going to show you around coming up a little later. So stick around. You're going to want to see this because there is so much to see. But first, we're going to send it back to the studio, but stick around.